Hey guys, Chester Westford here. It is October, the month of spookiness and monstrosities. So I've decided to focus my next few videos on some of the monsters in Doctor Who. For this video, well, the classic series is often picked on for having monsters that are, shall we say, made somewhat cheaply and not the most realistic. An aspect which doesn't really bother me, but which I cannot deny is not untrue. However, not all of the monsters of the olden days were of the bubble wrap and tinfoil variety. Here, in fact, is a list of 5 of the best monster designs from the classic series, in my opinion. The Hemovores. Curse of Fenric. Didn't realize until after I made this list just how many of these come from season 26. One of the things I like about these, though, is how thought out they were. Admittedly, when I first saw this as a kid, the reason they looked so strange wasn't apparent to me, but now I'm older, and after watching the documentaries on the DVDs, I kind of like that they tried to make it appear as if these zombie-like vampiric creatures had become overtaken by sea life. It's kind of similar to like what they did in Pirates of the Caribbean, but done on a much smaller budget. But even though they are done on a much smaller budget, I almost like these better because they're practical and not CGI. Either way, it's a gruesome idea and fits really well into a spookier story like this one. Next, the Cheetah People from Survival. Sometimes I think the people who created the Cats movie should have watched Doctor Who. Either Survival or honestly New Earth might have been also appropriate, almost more so, but you get the idea. In my opinion, these costumes are just near perfect. Sorry, couldn't resist. To be fair, I think that furry creatures are a lot easier in general to create than ones with skin that you have to sculpt. But of course, I am definitely not a makeup artist, so I can't really attest as to whether that's true or not. But even if it is, I personally think these costumes are just really good. Yeah, they obviously look like costumes at times, but they're still, like I say, really good costumes. One thing I think that helps in this type of costume is that they allow for fuller movement of the actor. The actual mouth movement, of course, here also helps to make these one of the more realistic creatures of the era. As an honorable mention, I will say that the Therals in Warrior's Gate are also very good. I honestly could have chosen that in place of this one, but I've chosen to kind of group them together here since they're both cat-like creatures and both very good. Next on the list is the Draconians from Frontier in Space. What makes these the most impressive is that they came at a time when expressiveness was not always possible in most of the other creatures. Kind of like the Silurians and Sea Devils. Sorry to keep bringing them up. They're not bad necessarily, just good comparison for something that's not as well done, maybe. I mean, their eyes didn't even move, their mouths were only somewhat movable, but that was not the case with these guys, however. The fact that these are half masks as opposed to full masks, like many others, also allowed for more realistic expression, making these apparently John Pertwee's favorite monsters to work with. Understandably so, as it would be easier to act opposite another actor as opposed to a costume where you can't see the actor. Yeah, I'd like to see these guys come back someday, just to see how the new team would deal with them in the modern day. Doesn't seem like that would take much upgrading, kinda like my next monster on the list. Next on the list, the Zygons from Terror of the Zygons. I know, I said one-off monsters. But this one counts in my book as, despite their remembered legacy, these monsters were, in fact, originally one-off villains in the classic series. They have returned a couple of times in the new series and in other media, but since I'm only doing classic series TV in this video, it counts. Honestly, like I say, because of their remembered legacy and their subsequent returns, they do feel like they were just more than one-off villains. Part of that is the original story being so good, but also part of it has to be the design and just how unique and memorable they were. From the orange skin to the suckers all over the body to the incredible detail, including blood veins in places, I think it's just a very well done design. Also, Anytime the actor's real eyes can be seen through the mask, that really does help to sell it as much more lifelike. It's a testament to just how good these look that when they did come back in the 50th and Series 9 it was, had to remember for a second, sorry, bad fan here, the design was hardly changed at all. It didn't need much changing because they were already so good. The Destroyer, Battlefield. I've often heard this cited as one of the best monster designs in all of Classic Who, possibly the best, and I must agree. By this time, the show had come a long way from the movementless mouths of the Silurians or the, dare I say it, the Merca. And now the current team had begun experimenting and getting better at creating animatronic headpieces, like this one. Between the excellent head sculpt and the very well done mechanics, for a show with a budget like Doctor Who in the 80s, this is one of those aspects of that final season which just makes me curious as to what we would have gotten had the show gone on for another few seasons in the 90s. Was this an indication of how the costuming would have improved? Would it have kept going in that direction? Who knows? I guess we'll never know. But it's kind of cool to have this as an indication of how much better it was getting and what might have been. So yeah, that's my list for 5 of the best monster designs in the classic series. Yes, of course, there are more really good ones, and I might save those for a future video. But what do you guys think of my list? What are some of your favorite classic monster designs? Let me know in the comments below, and if you are a Halloween fan, if you like Halloween, or if you just like humor, you should definitely head over to my Facebook page, where I'm doing, with some of my friends, I'm doing Halloween countdown videos every single day. Just short little funny videos. And, yeah, hop over to my Facebook page. I'll put it in the description, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.